But there's something actually really important that I want to talk about anyway before I go. Something really important. Um, so I best pull the mic up for this. So again, not far from me, there's been an horrific event that's happened that you've probably either seen in the news or you've seen again in like online or whatever, and some really, really terrible things have happened. So I can't say now because I'll get banned off TikTok. If you want to Google Southport incident right now, you'll know what I mean. So our country at the minute, as in England, is on its knees, like on its knees. We're getting held now in a system where criminals go unpunished, and the public seem to be against the punishing of criminals. Now, it's getting to a point now where it's becoming so lawless that people are walking around with weapons and people are hurting other people severely. Now, if you have a look at this story that's just happened, so we have 2 people at the minute that have been announced unalived, and we have 6 other people that are critical because someone has had a sharp, pointy object with them, and the fatalities were children. Now, this place was a dance club in Southport, and it was for the kids for the summer holidays. Now, what is happening to our country where we are in this position where this is happening? People, I've heard loads of stories about the guy. I've heard he's from Wales. I've heard he's from a foreign country. I've heard all sorts, right? But this isn't the problem. The problem is that the fact that people are using pointy objects, you know what I mean, every single day. The culture today is I'd rather walk around with that object than not have one on me to protect myself. Since when did we live in a country where we had to walk around in fear every single day where people might have one of them on them? In my line of work, I'm a security guard. That could happen to me at any point. Touch wood, it hasn't. But this could happen to anybody at any point now. It's getting horrific. The government needs to step up now. The country itself, the culture needs to change. We need to encourage stop and searches. We need to encourage people getting background checks before they come into this country. And we need to work with authorities and policemen, because we're getting to a point now where we are just lawless, and fighting for ourselves isn't working. It's not. Normal people like myself, who have a normal job, who have a family, who have a kid who's only 7 years old, are having to look him in the eye and try and tell him that some people are that bad to walk around with certain things. It's got to that point. This country needs to change, and hopefully one day, whether it's a government thing, yeah, it's disgusting, Colin. Whether it's a government thing or it's us, we don't know. But we need to band together somehow, find a common ground, and work together to get these pointy objects off our streets. Because we're in a severe predicament right now. Severe. And what do you do in a situation like this? How do you act? Being a normal person who works a lot of hours and has a family, what do you do? So education is a big thing. Educate the people you live with about certain situations they shouldn't be putting themselves in. And educate your children to tell them that that isn't the way. Now, I believe wholeheartedly that single parent families are the ones that are struggling severely in this country. So what happens is, a woman has kids with a man, and the man somehow breaks up with the girl, leaves her with the kids. Now, a woman with four kids, they're all stressed out during the day. What do? The parents, when they get older, get out the house and go and find something to do, right? Okay. So while they're finding something to do, they end up rolling with these gangs or getting indoctrinated in this gang culture. Now, what happens is with that, they end up running into people who know how to work young kids' minds, manipulate them to do certain things, make them do certain things, and basically promise them the world in, if you do this thing for me, I will give you everything you ever wanted. Now, this is how gangs start and gangs form. In this country now, you'll see young kids, 16, 17 years of age, rolling around in gangs of 20, all of them with pointy objects on them. Don't care who they start with. They don't care about authority because they're so soft. They don't care, and it's all because, and at home, they haven't been disciplined and shown the right way because parents don't want to deal with the stress. Now, I thoroughly believe that making it an incentive for single parents, like for instance, giving mothers an incentive to be on their own by giving them extra money every single month is a terrible thing. Yes, some people struggle and are on their own legit, but at the same time, we need to take that incentive away to keep the household a two-parent household. I thoroughly believe that. And with more discipline in the house, another voice, I'm not saying it's a male or a female thing, just another voice in the house to tell the kid what's right and what's wrong. I think it's vital. That's how I'd tackle it. I'd give an incentive for two-parent households. If you're on the birth certificate with the child, then, and you both live in the same household, then maybe you get more money. I don't know, because money is a big incentive for a lot of people. But I thoroughly believe that gang culture right now is out of control, and the government, the police, and us normal people need to take a stand right now and get these pointy objects off our streets. Because we're going to get incidents in Southport where children are getting unalived, and it's horrific. I do not want to live in a country where I have to worry about my child going to an after-school club. And that's what it's come to. Mental health is horrific in this country, I understand. But at the same time, there has to be things put into place to help these people deal. There has to be background checks done on these people to make sure they should be around civilian people. But that's just my little 2 cents on it. That's how I tackle it. Incentive for two-parent households, education, and working with trying to get the police back on the community side to make them understand the severity of the situation, what we're in right now in this country. Because the culture is to hate the police, and without them, this is what it's going to be like in every single area where people are roaming around the streets, bladed up, weaponed up, and they're going to be hurting regular people who aren't involved in gangs and gang violence. So that's my 2 cents on it. I'm sorry to end the stream that way, but so that's really, really important to me. It has to happen now. We have to step up as people. And all these young people that I've got young people in my chat now who follow me and they watch me play Siege and stuff, and I love them to bits, and they're all good people, and I know for a fact just by talking to them they would not do anything of the sort, you know what I mean? They have heads screwed on their shoulders. But a lot of people have no guidance in their life, and they need guidance. They need to be educated. They need to either learn that they can settle differences by talking, using their voice rather than actions, and make sure that they realise that prison isn't the way. Prison is not the way. Because people right now are seeing people in Nick, in the prison system, and they come out famous. For instance, Mazza. Right, I've got nothing against Mazza, and I'm not part of that culture. I don't know what he's done. I don't know the stuff he's seen. I don't know what he's been up to. All I know is that he's come famous by coming out of prison. Now, kids are seeing this, right? They're seeing a guy who's made songs in prison come out and made himself famous, rich, and have all these sponsors, all this money, and it's been glorified. Now people are just thinking, I can do what I want going to prison, come out and have the life of Riley. They can do what they please. And prison isn't a big deal. But what's happening is, well, we're starting to move into a culture where the kids of today would rather go into jail for doing what they want rather than living a life of respect, normality, children. You know what I'm saying? And I'm hoping it changes, man. I really do. Because I don't want my son to grow up in a country or a world like this, man. It's not a good place right now. I'm sorry to end the stream on this, but I think it's stuff like that has to be said. It's important. It's more important than this. That is more important than this. So, hopefully, guys, that little message there of us all being together and working together as people and educating others who might be going down that road, that isn't the path to be on. Because young people are being unalived every single day because of gang violence and weapons. You know what I mean? It's horrific right now. Liverpool is a cesspit. It's horrific. They're fighting over postcodes which don't matter. They don't own these postcodes, but yet they're still fighting over them. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And it's just gang mentality, bro. It's mad. Instead of them fighting like men, if they have a difference with the fists up, the first thing they do is pull out a weapon. That's the first thing people do now because they're so scared for their egos to be hurt and themselves to be put online getting knocked out that they'll carry weapons around just so that doesn't happen to them. And that is the softest thing of all. In my eyes, that makes you look so 10 times worse than what it would getting knocked out. And this is what we need people to realise. Man, it's upsetting to see 2 young kids unalived by a 17-year-old, 6 in critical condition. This is what I'm saying, David. They think that they look good by doing something like that, when in fact it makes you look like an even bigger fairy. Hopefully one day, right? Hopefully one day as a culture and as a country, these young people grow up and realise, what was I doing? All this running around starting conflict of everybody for no reason whatsoever. Oh man. It's upsetting. Now all I can do is send out wishes to everybody that was involved and everybody that seen it, heard it, helped. You know what I mean? My total respect for them firemen who ran into the situation to try and help. You know what I'm saying? The man's been detained. He's a 17-year-old male. We don't know why he's done it yet. We don't know anything about it yet. But we know what he's done, so Man, we live in crazy times. Let's hope one day it gets better. Anyway,